Hello. Hello.
Hi, Alexandra.
Big thanks to Kent Education Business Partners for letting us put together a video for you all about the timber industry. My name's Alexandra, and today I am going to be interviewing Gervais Sawyer, or aka the Saw Doctor. Or is it the other way around? The Saw Doctor, aka Gervais Sawyer. And Gervais, we're talking about wood today.
Wood industry, yes.
It's all about carpentry or
Oh,
something?
no. Well, usually I go to careers fairs that the EBP organises and meet people face to face. And even teachers come up to me and say, oh, wood industry, that's carpentry, is it? And I say, it's important, but it's a tiny part of the industry. Yeah, because the wood industry is really huge in this country. Yeah, people don't really lodge onto that. Do you remember that video we did about imagine stacking all the wood we use in Britain on the pitch?
All the pallets.
Well, no, just all the wood we use in Britain in 1 year on the pitch at Wembley Stadium.
Right.
I think it made a pile over 2 kilometres high. That's a boggling, and that's only the wood we know about. There's an awful lot we don't.
If that was in the middle of a football pitch while you were watching a match, you'd be astonished.
Yeah. I mean, the wood industry is really huge. In fact, according to the government statistics, it's the 6th biggest economic activity in Britain.
That's pretty large, yeah.
Transport, one way or another, is the biggest one.
Sure, yeah.
Cars and lorries and all the rest.
Right.
Followed by, I think, pharmaceuticals, medicines.
Okay, medicine,
we're
everyone
big
needs
in that.
Yeah.
Followed by printing and publishing. People like reading.
Still.
Yeah.
Amazing that needs to be printed and published in the world of the internet.
Followed by shop fitting and office furniture.
Surely the food industry gets into the top 3.
No, it comes a long way down. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I have to be very careful
People
to say.
don't eat enough.
I have to be very careful to say shop fitting and not shoplifting. It's very slip of the tongue. Could get you into
we're not
real
encouraging that, young people.
Followed by tobacco.
Really?
No need to talk about that.
We are not encouraging that either.
Iron and steel, and then wood.
Okay.
So that's number 6. And if you wanted to follow that along, number 7 is baking and biscuits.
Right, because we all devour biscuits. I think in the UK probably. But, oh look, you've got a hobnob. Oh, that wasn't planned.
Well, if that was a digestive biscuit, McVitie's tell me they make 2,000 tonnes a week. That is a lot of dunking.
Stack them in the middle of Wembley Stadium and see if we can compete with the timber industry.
And after that came plastics, and then I sort of rather lost interest in this exercise. So it's a huge thing.
Brilliant. So, tell us more about wood. Like, why is it so important?
Well, people don't realise that how wood is such an integral part of our lives. In fact, I had a dream. I went to bed and. Well, I'll miss the Martin Luther King bit.
I had a dream. This is my cue to get the slides.
Yeah.
You had a dream.
I had a dream.
Yeah. And then what happened?
Well, I woke up to a world with no wood in it.
Right. Oh, that's a terrible nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you wake up on the floor because there was no bed?
Worse than that.
Okay.
There was no bed indeed.
There we go, yeah.
And there was no floor.
Right. Oh, crikey.
Yeah, so I was on the concrete underneath. And of course I was looking up at the stars because there wasn't a roof.
Yeah,
anyway.
Of course, yeah.
So that's pretty bad. What do you do first thing in the morning?
Oh, desperate for the loo, yeah.
Okay, unfortunately there's no door.
Don't look!
You're going to have an audience.
Don't look, family!
And you sit down and the toilet's going to be a bit cold because there's no toilet seat.
Oh my God.
And worse still, there's no toilet paper.
No! You have to go and do the French way with just a little bit of a water douche.
Somebody said that there was this programme on TV where they visited a toilet paper mill. They said we use, on average, 3 toilet rolls a week.
Really?
Well, not me, but anyway. How many people in the country? 60-something million?
Messy poos.
That's an incredible amount of toilet paper.
Let's skip through there again and start from the beginning. Here we go, toilet. So no toilet paper.
Yeah.
Then
Next. There's of course no furniture in the house.
I'm sitting on the floor for breakfast.
Couldn't fix breakfast, no kitchen.
Right.
In the garden, no fences. So
great. So my next door neighbour's dog's going to come and poo in my garden. Great.
Is that why you have all these little holes in the grass? Right. No pallets.
What does that mean?
This is a standard European pallet, and these get reused. They go round and round the system again and again.
Okay.
But even so, we have to put in, and this is only Britain, remember, 250 million new pallets a year.
Wow.
So without pallets, no forklift trucks.
Right.
Everything at your supermarkets are going to have to come off the lorry by hand.
No food. No food. Crikey.
No books, newspapers.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of
no.
musical instruments. So take your guitar away.
Sorry, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
Give
not
us your
piano.
guitar back.
No,
Yeah.
no. Playground surfaces. That's
Okay.
bark and chips, so
Like
that you can't
soft padding.
hurt yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
What are they doing up there?
Well, no telegraph poles or electricity poles.
Right.
Near me, BT have a training centre for teaching people how to climb telegraph poles.
Cool. I wondered how they learnt how to get up there.
Yeah.
Well, not for me. I'm a bit scared of heights. That's amazing. So hang on. No telegraph poles means no telephone.
No telephone,
line.
no internet, and
No
no
telephone,
electricity
no
poles in lots of districts. No
Oh, I
electricity.
don't like the sound of that.
No.
Playground services.
So I think you agree it's a pretty essential part of our lives. We
Absolutely.
can't do without it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crikey.
Yeah.
Didn't realise.
it's quite fantastic.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, this table right here has lasted me a good 20 years.
And of course, I didn't list there. Lots of people are burning firewood.
Yeah.
And we've got no records of that. We don't compile statistics for domestic firewood
Yeah.
or what farmers are doing. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh.
So,
So all these young people hopefully are tuning in today to maybe learn a little bit about what they can do after school, and if they're perhaps choosing their college subjects or a BTEC course or wanting to go straight into work, and then the timber industry is something that you're going to tell them about. Is that right?
certainly, because a lot of the skills you'd have would work for any industry.
Okay.
You know, you need all the basic things,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a certain emphasis when you come into wood. I mean, I blundered into wood, and it just suited me fine.
Oh, that was
and
lucky.
so I felt the need for further studies as I went along. you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So could we look at a logical story?
Absolutely. I've
For
got
this?
the slide. Here we go. This one. Is this the one you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So who are these people? Work with wood.
Well, you might regard yourself as a highly manually skilled person, or you might be scientific,
I'm not sure.
artistic,
Yes, I'm definitely
or
that.
hard-nosed, commercial, sell.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, all
All
of
types
those,
of people.
all of those things can be found here. Yeah. So if we started with logical place to start. There's a song about that, isn't there? Let's start at the very beginning. Yeah.
Not familiar.
Right, Sound of Music.
So this is nice.
Forestry.
Yeah, and it's approaching Christmas, and they've got Christmas
Well,
trees
Christmas trees, yes,
Mm.
yeah. Most industrial forestry is really in the north of England, Wales, and Scotland.
there. Okay.
Those are the regions where there's high rainfall and it's a bit colder that suits these trees. But there are broadleaf woodlands and forests as well around the country.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for that, you'd go and study forestry.
So
somewhere.
forestry is the process of growing trees, managing
Growing
forests.
trees,
Okay. So if you like to spend your time in the woods,
We, in this country, we only produce 10% of our own
okay.
timber. But that's pretty impressive given that most of our land is suitable for agriculture
Absolutely.
and grazing and so on.
Yeah, not bad for a little country.
But there's always room for more. Always room for more.
Always plant a tree.
But if you're thinking locally, then lots of trees grow in the town environment, and we need tree surgeons to care for those trees.
That's true. I read once that London is the greenest city
Yeah.
in the whole of the world.
Yeah.
So I don't
yeah.
know the world, but yeah.
So if you fancy abseiling and wielding a chainsaw and
Yeah, if you like climbing and heights, if you've done Go Ape for a birthday
Ape,
party. I'm just
yes.
looking at this guy in his harness, dangling his... That's pretty
always
cool.
be a demand for that.
Yeah, if
And
you
there
walk
are-
in the pub looking like that, you're going
There
to
are
get
training
respect.
courses for that in the southeast.
Amazing.
It's a big skill there.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like sort of good paid work for
Certainly
skilled
is.
work. So where
Yeah.
are we going now? Okay, next one.
When it comes to commercial forestry, you've got to point comes. It's just a crop like growing wheat or something, or
All
it takes
right.
a bit longer to
Didn't
grow.
think about trees like that, yeah.
And we have to harvest the trees.
Okay.
And in some cases, that might be wielding a chainsaw.
Old
which
fashioned
is-
or an axe.
Yeah, well, which is hard work, and not without its risks. So it needs a high level of training.
Sure.
But for single forests of pines or spruces, we use harvesting machines, one like this,
Wow, look at the tracks
which
on that
will-
monster.
cut a tree, lower it gently to the ground. We don't let it fall, that damages it.
So if I wanted to drive that awesome looking truck
You
with all
would.
the controls, I could get trained up for
A
that.
lot of training. That will fell a tree, take the branches off, cut it to length and stack it at the roadside. One tree in
Well,
90
you can actually
seconds.
see in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
One tree every 90 seconds.
Really?
You wonder why there's a tree left standing in the world.
Oh dear, yeah, it's a little bit sad, but I guess we do need them. I think.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is sawmilling, panel mill, paper mill.
Yeah, having felled those trees, they're going to
Right.
go to a mill of some kind.
Sure.
So it might be a sawmill for producing timber for building or fencing or pallets.
So you're telling me that it's all done under one roof? So
yeah.
big trees get delivered, and then they might go through machines to be milled, and then panelled for panels. And I'm just trying to understand.
Well, a
it's all
panel
under
mill,
one-
panels are things like chipboard.
Okay.
Not in this part of the country. It tends to be in other parts of the country.
Okay.
And the paper mills, well, we've got lots of paper mills in Britain, but there's a big one at Maidstone.
Okay.
Yeah,
So working in one of these places, you'd be like an operative of machines, and
could be.
maybe in the office doing secretarial work or accounting or.
Yeah, and transport, all the different skills.
Okay.
And of course, places like this, lots of machinery requires all those machinery maintenance skills, which I think we comment on that somewhere else.
So you could also, kids, Google, your local sawmill or paper mills if you wanted to volunteer or go down there for a day and shadow somebody. Just inquire, reach out, email and say, hey, can I come and see?
They'll all be very happy to show you around in normal times. Anyway, yes.
Oh yeah, once the lockdown's lifted.
Yeah. So I said. All mills require a lot of mechanical and electrical engineering support.
Right.
Yeah. So and those skills you would have learnt if you've gone down that engineering
So if
route.
you've done a sort of BTEC mechanics or something.
Yeah, and those skills are very transferable.
Okay.
And if you went into the wood area, then of course there are certain specialisms you've got to get to grips with.
Oh, so you'd be trained up in bigger
Oh,
machines and mechanical
sure.
machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like machines and metal and how things work, then you could think about that direction.
When it comes to big saws, then I'm a saw doctor. You see the whites of my eyes. Power.
Right.
Yeah. Bioenergy.
Yeah.
We're trying to move away from fossil fuels.
We are.
And in the growing of trees for useful products, we have to thin the forest. And what do we do with those thinnings? Well, we have trees that we can grow very fast because they're very good at providing fuel wood.
Sure, okay.
And that requires processing. Drax, big power station up in Yorkshire.
Right.
Well, it's burning 50 tonnes a minute of wood pellets.
Wow, so they must just have these in the yard and they get shoveled in with diggers.
It's all sort of automated and blown around.
Fantastic.
But in the southeast, we've got a big wood chip business. People have wood chip fired boilers for their houses.
Yeah, I did think of getting that for my house actually.
Yeah. Or it tends to be more for large institutions that require a constant heat source, like hospital and swimming pool.
It also looks like my kitty litter pellets,
It does.
which are also made of wood. Okay.
Yeah. Most of the timber we use, we have to import. 90% of it's imported, and it comes from Scandinavia and Europe, and some from as far away as South America, New Zealand, Australia.
Worldwide.
Global business.
Worldwide.
Yeah. So.
I thought that was a money printing.
Oh, that's actually the hold of a ship with the hatches taken off. You can see all the packages of wood sitting in the hold there. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got to have contact with the producers of this,
Right.
organise shipping,
Right.
purchasing it, shipping, getting
Okay.
it over here.
Okay, so really to do with transport.
Very commercial, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Although, just going back there, I don't know how one would get into that. You'd have to reach out to those companies and type in like timber shipping company and then ask for work experience or
and shipping lines as well, yes.
look on their work and jobs vacancies on their websites, things like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Most successful supermarket in this country is probably Tesco's, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not plugging. They're not giving us any
there
money.
There are other supermarkets.
Let's say it's Tesco's.
Okay, why are they so successful? Because they're absolutely brilliant at organising distribution and transport of products.
Okay.
Transport is where you make or lose your money, because vehicles are expensive, running costs are expensive, driver can only work so many hours.
And if you
So
don't have your stock,
You've got to keep the wheels turning.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember stopping at motorway services and seeing a lorry pull in. One driver got out, next driver got in, and the wheels are always turning.
Okay, so it's like micro scheduling.
Yeah. If that was your interest in transport, you like lorries and such like, you would probably done a course in logistics. Very, very important and sophisticated. Stock control all comes part of it.
Again, I have no idea how you'd get into that. So you'd have to sort of investigate those companies and ask.
You'd probably work your way in there.
Work your way up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a subject that you can study specifically.
Oh, transport logistics.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So we get on to using wood.
Yeah.
And because we're building more and more buildings in wood because it's sustainable and it ticks a few environmentally friendly boxes.
Yeah.
And it looks
It's
lovely.
warm.
Yeah. Now, if you were an architect, it's a long course. And
Right.
it's quite expensive, it has to be said.
As long as the same as being a surgeon.
Vet, I think, is one of the longest ones, isn't
crikey.
it? Yeah. But nevertheless, there are architects who specialise in wood things.
Okay.
And one I have in mind who is really paving, trailblazing in remarkable wooden structures, high rise and things. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Timber engineering. Well, wood is incredibly strong, and if you do things correctly, you can build remarkable things.
Is that a
wood.
bridge that we're looking
It's a
at
bridge.
there? Beautiful.
Yeah, and some of them are very large.
So in these sort of architect and timber engineering to do with sort of design, art, maths, these sorts of things that people
The
must be
architect is
interested
coming
in.
up with the concept,
Okay,
and then
it's
he
creative
has to
side of it.
turn to an engineer who actually makes his
Right.
crazy idea
So
possible.
these two people would work together.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, this is
Block of flats.
a modern way of building is called mass timber construction or cross-laminated timber. So the whole of the side of one floor of this building is factory made, one piece, with the windows installed.
Great.
And it comes together on site, and just a few men with a cordless screwdriver, or women with a cordless screwdriver, sorry. People, okay.
Non-gender specific.
Assemble it. Typically a floor goes up in a few days.
So a little bit like IKEA flat pack furniture, but
a bit.
for blocks of flats.
Yeah, so a wall might be that thick,
Right.
or that thick.
Yeah.
This is one in Norway, and it holds not quite a European record. I think it's 22 stories.
Have we got one in England?
One in
You know
Hackney, which is
Hey,
nine
East
stories
London.
high,
Okay.
and one in Dalston, London, which is it's not so high, but it's vast.
Really?
Huge.
Really big.
Yeah.
Wow,
Huge.
amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Of course, to build houses,
Yeah.
you need carpenters.
I know a bit about this, Gervais.
You do?
Yeah, my son, who's now 16, but he didn't get to finish his GCSEs because of the COVID year, and he didn't know what to do, but he didn't really fancy going and doing lots of studying, so he contacted loads of carpentry joinery workshops in his area and asked them for a job, and he found one that did give him a job. After showcasing on Instagram what he could do or what he's already done, like hang a door and use a power drill like that, etc. And now they're funding him and paying him through an apprenticeship scheme to go to college 1 day a week, work for 4 days. He gets paid, well, I'm just going to be really candid, he gets paid £1,000 a month for a 16-year-old. That's not bad. And
Wow.
he gets paid to go to college, whereas the other lads are there Monday to Friday and nobody's paying them to study. So he feels quite good because he's learning most of the time on the job and going into college and getting all of the paperwork ticked. So
And he kept a portfolio of what he'd achieved.
he did.
the
I did
jobs he'd
show
done.
you. Yeah, really. In fact, that's really the way to go forward. Is to you have to go meet people. You have to go and show them, have a face to face, and show them who you are. So yeah, for this particular one, and I did ask you at the beginning, is wood about carpentry? To me, that's somebody that really likes to work with their hands and power tools and building, sense of satisfaction. Not somebody who likes to sit at a desk. Although there's a bit of paperwork involved because you've got to send in your invoice at the end of the
I mean,
month.
it's not just assembly. If you were doing carpentry in a new build one-off house, you'd have to work out all the dimensions to build the staircases, for instance,
Yeah.
or frame the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly skilled.
Yeah.
And we are desperately short of these because the skilled carpenters, they're all retiring, they're getting oldies like me.
Right.
And
You're not old.
where are the new ones coming from?
Yeah,
you know?
right, okay. So anybody that doesn't like any desk work and wants to get straight into it, go and look up a BTEC apprenticeship or BTEC carpentry joinery. And
Yep.
apprenticeships, I think, are
Yeah,
everywhere in
the government
industry.
is putting more and more money into apprenticeship schemes.
Yeah.
And apprenticeship schemes not low level. I mean, you can keep going to degree level and beyond.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
apprentice.
yeah. He's starting at level 2, and then every time you do it, you get a pay rise.
Oh,
So there's a real incentive there. So if you like your money, get an apprenticeship. What's next?
well, part of wood processing, of course, there's a little bit of handwork, but most of it's machine work. And the picture shows you some basic woodworking machines, a planer, circular saw table, and so on. But there's a lot of much more sophisticated wood machining, which requires computer control. We call it CNC.
Yeah, I think
So
they
being able to program machines like that.
Yeah, a little bit of CAD. If you liked your DT in school,
Yeah,
I think
CAD,
they do
CAD,
things like
CAM.
that. Yeah.
And I never cease to be amazed at how far they can take this technology. You know?
Yeah.
I went to an exhibition where one of these machines was making wood carvings of the Virgin Mary, and it was so convincing. There was even the marks where the carpenters, where the wood carver's chisel had slipped.
Brilliant.
But the machine's putting that in, and it's making one every 3 minutes.
Nobody would have known the difference.
Naughty, really, isn't
That's
it?
so clever. I'll just change a few there.
Um,
So yeah.
Joinery
yeah.
is when you get to the stage of the part of wood in the building which is good to look at. The staircases, the furniture, the floors.
That is a nice set of
that sort of
stairs,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
What's up here? What's she doing?
Furniture making, because we can include furniture design as well. There's
Okay.
always a demand for one-off bespoke pieces of furniture.
Sure. Yeah. People, if you have the money,
Yeah, people are prepared to spend it.
yeah,
You know?
I would.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, every business has to function, or it should function, in an environmentally responsible way. So you've got to have the team there which can make sure you're not polluting or emitting.
So what sort of things
Or
would they be
wasting.
checking? Somebody that works in environmental management.
For instance, if you're a sawmill, you've got all your log yard and it's raining and chemicals leach out of those logs. And if they go into the public drain, it can kill things. So
Right,
you've got to
yeah.
control that.
Okay.
If you're a paper mill, you can't just discharge your washing water into a river because you kill everything. So that has to be controlled.
Okay, so somebody that likes to follow policies or write procedures
Yeah.
and then get people to stick to the rules and go and check on people.
And that's totally transferable skill. I mean,
Sure.
every industry has to do that.
Yeah. I can imagine there'd be quite a lot of out and about site visitation if you were the
Can-
sort of person for checking, not
Can
just
be.
behind the desk writing the procedures and
Can be.
policies. Hmm.
If computer's your thing, every industry needs IT.
And web support, just
web
like
support.
this video, actually.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be getting this information without it. Yeah,
So
absolutely true.
you imagine how a company functions these days. People visit their website.
Hmm.
That web page has got to be built. It's got to have the functionality for purchasing
Mm-hmm.
and reviewing and all that sort of thing. And then the company's got to keep all its accounts and records. Joe Bloggs' computer suddenly died.
Yeah.
IT support's got to go and fix it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So if you're like into computers, remember the timber industry. You
Every
could help
industry,
in there.
because every industry has its own specialisms,
Sure.
and some industries are highly technical.
What's
Yeah,
next?
journalism. There's not much. I hesitate to say not much scope for journalism for producing magazines such as I show here. Two well-known magazines.
They look like quite
But
yeah,
if you think
specialised
every
magazines.
business in its selling, it's got to write copy
Yeah.
about its products or technical support. How to use our product. That's all come up under journalism.
Absolutely. And just as I said yesterday, that journalism more and more is about video creation and content management, and social media is really involved in promotion and spreading the word or as a new movement or ideas, and also ways of drumming up work. Mainly because the new generation are all on, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and that's a really quick way to communicate. So
Yeah.
there could be ways of updating the timber industry as it goes.
Yep. It's Sky's the limit there, I think.
Let's have a look here.
Marketing and
same
PR.
sort of thing that I said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of the sales, managing the company's image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all important.
Sales, it's not just a question of here it is over the counter and take your money.
Yeah, what do you think that guy's doing there? His card's been declined or something.
You've got to have all the knowledge about your products and how they might be used.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to walk into one of those shops and then not know what they're talking about.
There's a shop near here you go to for timber.
Yeah.
And it's so good because they'll say, that's not what you want for your job.
Yeah.
You need this. And don't forget you're going to need some of those to go with it.
It's a nice shopping experience.
And it all appears so casual, but they've had a lot of training
They know what they're talking
and
about, yeah.
study in those products to get there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we builders merchants, of course, is
Customer rapport
wood distributors.
and knowing your stuff.
Next one, we sales in areas. Hardwoods, I haven't really told the difference between softwoods and hardwoods, but hardwoods it's a different. These are the fine timbers,
Okay.
more expensive.
I think that in your other videos that we're going to talk about after this slideshow, that you talk more about hardwoods and softwoods.
I do indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Look how much timber there.
Panels, things plywood, chipboard, MDF board, and lots of other boards. They're all high value.
Well, yeah,
and they
IKEA need all of that, don't they?
Yeah, and they all need special knowledge for their distribution. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, this is the age where in the timber industry you can only sell products which have proven to come from a sustainable source.
Right.
If that would stop you, I could go out tomorrow and buy something from a non-sustainable source,
Yeah.
and the result is I'll have Greenpeace camping on the doorstep and
Isn't
business
that
will be
great?
damaged.
Yeah, especially in this climate with the David Attenborough, recent David Attenborough documentary about his life.
The British timber industry has been very proactive from many years ago,
Brilliant.
decades ago. We started off with Forests Forever, and then eventually the message got across, and it's a requirement of all EU companies that they only purchase timber from sustainable sources.
Brilliant.
Now, you have to audit that supply chain. Somebody's got to actually go out to the mill there and make sure that it's being done properly, and a paper trail comes all the way through. And at the end of it, a company might send samples to me and say, can you identify these timbers so we know that what we received is what we bought?
Okay.
And
Isn't
they pay
that
me for
great?
it.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's
So, and also sustainability, what does that mean? That you plant a tree for everyone you take out, or you plant more than one tree for everyone you take out?
well,
or?
generally there are more trees growing in Europe than there were 1,000 years ago.
Okay, so it's doing all right.
But it means that forest should keep producing wood forever.
Okay, fair enough. So somebody that's really into accounting and legislation and policies, again, somebody who likes to, well, I mean, this also could be an outdoor job, right? But it's
There is an element of outdoor.
so just interest, an environmentalist.
Warehousing operations, well, it's part of the distribution and logistics thing. So if you like driving forklift trucks
I've always fancied to go at one of those.
and similarly, somebody has got to select the right product for the client and assemble it into his order
Right.
and organise getting it delivered.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice experience to go to my Loga timber yard
And if you like the fresh air and
out
great.
in all weathers.
Now this is my field. Wood can rot and it can also get eaten.
Right.
And it makes sense to make it last as long as possible. Otherwise we won't be able to grow trees fast enough to replace what's rotting away.
Yeah.
And principally it's done by impregnating wood with chemicals. But there are other ways of doing it and we're researching on that all the time. So this is my particular interest field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of science around that really, and chemicals
chemistry
and
and
treatments of
Yeah.
timber.
Now, leading on from that,
Property care
we've
and
got an
maintenance.
awful lot of old houses in this country and they need maintenance. The woodworm get in there, the rising damp, get condensation on the walls and moulds. And
So for the timber industry, that's really about preservation again.
it is really, yes, but they have an excellent apprenticeship scheme and their apprentices have got to be totally multitasking. They might be doing brickwork, plastering, carpentry,
Right.
spraying, all these things.
Okay.
Yeah, they tend to be quite small companies, but
Awesome.
yeah, and I think they are probably preparing a video for Kent EBP as well.
Oh, cool. So you can go and check their website
Yeah,
out
yeah.
after this.
The PCA are it's a body which all the companies belong to.
Like an umbrella.
Yeah, so they present a joint public image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep a standard.
Yeah. And of course, at the end of life, 20 years ago, you'd have thrown all your wood into the landfill bin.
Mm-hmm.
What a terrible waste. And so nowadays we recycle more and more. And I think last year we recycled nearly 5 million tonnes.
Crikey.
A lot of that,
A lot.
if you want the lowest return for your recycling, you send it for making chipboard.
Right.
You can't use it for all the chipboard, it can only go in the core.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to add value, like animal bedding, playground services.
Mm-hmm. Kitty litter.
Yep. And one of the tough markets to satisfy is fuel. It's if you're going to burn it, it's got to be very, very clean.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Is that the end of the slideshow?
I think it probably is.
Oh, it's brilliant. Well done. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, good. Yes.
Ah, so there's loads. And then what about you? You were saying, oh, this is my side of the industry, and it's, you know, Tim, how can people find out more about what you do?
Okay. Well, I'll show you at the last slide, and it's easy to remember. workwithwood.org.uk.
Oh, work with wood?
Yeah, work with wood.
I'll find it eventually.
There
Here we go.
Well, it doesn't even need the www. It'll just workwithwood.org.uk. That'll take you straight through to some web pages for the Wood Technology Society, which is a professional body that people who work with wood belong to, as part of the Institute of Materials.
Okay.
And you can find out more information about each of those categories we talked about.
Okay, great. So
Okay.
like a homepage for
Yeah.
anywhere you want to go.
Yeah. And then if you wanted some gentle entertainment, then go to my page, The Saw Doctor. Go to YouTube, search for The Saw Doctor, and you'll probably have to add wood technology after it. Otherwise, you'll get 250 videos
You
by
get
an
the
Irish
Saw
pop group.
Doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah, that should come up straight away,
Okay.
and you'll see a series of short videos on particular topics of wood technology. Would never cease to amaze me. And if I'd seen you at a careers fair, you might have seen you would have seen me suspending something like 150 kilograms of bricks from a piece of wood not much bigger than a matchstick,
That's about 30 to 50 bricks
Yeah.
hanging on a matchstick.
to show you how incredibly strong wood is if you try and pull it apart. You know, things like that.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that having seen your YouTube channel, which is brilliant by the way, and you should definitely go and check it out. It's mainly aimed for primary school or year 7s and 8s. So if you're older and about to leave school or contemplating what choices to take for GCSE, just bear that in mind. It is for a younger generation, but it's really
I have to say,
informative.
teachers at careers fairs enjoy it particularly too.
Yeah, I loved it. It's very informative.
Including one where, with primary school children, we use wood science to get their teacher out of jail. We put their teacher in jail for a suspect in a robbery, and by identifying chips of wood we found in chunky sweater, we were able to prove that the police had got it wrong. So,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. And what's this over here? The IOM3.
Yeah, Institute of Materials. It's got lots of different divisions. So clearly there's mining, there's ceramics, packaging industry,
Right.
and Wood Technology Society.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's more about wood technology in the
Yeah.
IOM3.
Yeah, we used to be the Institute of Wood Science, but it made better sense rather than standing on our own and having our own office, expensive office, to pool our resources and join in with a bigger organisation.
Always better united.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant. That was just so brilliant to know how much wood affects us every day. I hadn't really given it much thought, so thank you, Gervais.
Thank you very much.
And I'm so glad you came along. And usually you'd have been at those careers fairs and your school probably would have had one, but because of the lockdown, this video's been made for you. So if you're interested at all in going to work in wood, either with your hands and doing something active or any field at all, watch this video back, go and check out all the links, and hope to see you out there in the industry.
And you'd only have to ask Kent EBP and they would route any email inquiry back to me. That'd be fun.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
I'm always pleased to hear from everybody.
You can contact Gervais. Great.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Anything else
Thank
you
you.
wanted to add?
No, I think that covers it very well.
Brilliant. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.